What would you do if the person who raised you turned out to be a monster? Imagine growing up believing your father was your protector, your hero, the man who tucked you into bed every night. But one day, police knock on your door, and suddenly your entire life becomes a lie. Buried deep inside the forests of Green Hollow, investigators discovered something horrifying: Bodhi's secrets, and evidence pointing toward a man nobody suspected. But the most terrifying part: his own child had been living with him the entire time. Tonight, we uncover the shocking true story behind the Green Hollow murders, a story of fear, deception, and a father whose dark secret changed everything forever. This is My Killer Father, the Green Hollow murders, the perfect family image in the quiet town near Green Hollow Forest. People described the Carter family as normal. The father, Daniel Carter, was calm, polite, and respected by neighbors. He worked long hours, fixed things around the house, and rarely caused trouble. To outsiders, he looked like the perfect family man. But behind closed doors, things were very different. Daniel controlled every aspect of the household. His wife barely spoke in public. His teenage daughter Emma was homeschooled and isolated from friends. Neighbors later told police that something always felt off about the family. But nobody imagined the horrifying truth hiding beneath the surface. Because while the town slept peacefully at night, a killer was already hunting. The first disappearance, it started with a missing woman. 28-year-old Sarah Mitchell disappeared after leaving work one rainy evening. Her car was found abandoned near Green Hollow Road. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, no answers. Police initially believed she may have run away, voluntarily, but then another woman vanished. And then another. All of them disappeared near the same isolated stretch of road beside Green Hollow Forest. Fear spread quickly through the town. Parents stopped letting children walk alone. Businesses closed earlier at night. Rumors exploded online. People whispered about a serial killer hiding in the woods. But investigators had almost nothing to work with, until one terrible discovery changed everything. The discovery in Green Hollow, 3 months after the first disappearance. A hiker entered a remote area of Green Hollow Forest. At first, he thought he saw animal remains buried beneath leaves. But when he looked closer, he froze. It was human. Police arrived immediately. The entire forest became a crime scene. What investigators uncovered shocked even experienced detectives. Multiple shallow graves, personal belongings, and evidence suggesting the victims had been carefully targeted. The media exploded with headlines: Green Hollow serial killer still free, who was hunting women near Green Hollow. Fear consumed the town. But investigators finally had forensic evidence, and one clue stood out more than anything else: a rare type of industrial rope found near the graves. That rope would eventually lead detectives directly to Daniel Carter. The father, nobody suspected Daniel Carter, worked at a warehouse company that used the exact same industrial rope. At first, detectives considered it a coincidence. But when they looked deeper, things became disturbing. Phone records placed Daniel near the disappearance locations. Witnesses remembered seeing his truck near Green Hollow late at night, and investigators discovered he had secretly followed several victims online. Still, nobody could believe it. Daniel was quiet, friendly, helpful, the kind of man neighbors trusted, which made the truth even more terrifying. Because serial killers rarely look dangerous. Sometimes they look completely normal. Emma's horrifying realization while police built their case. Daniel's daughter Emma began noticing strange behavior at home. Her father started cleaning obsessively, burning clothes in the backyard, locking doors constantly. One night, Emma heard him crying in the basement. Something she had never heard before. Curious and frightened, she waited until he left the house the next day. Then she opened the basement door. What she found would haunt her forever. Boxers filled with women's jewelry, driver's licenses, photographs, newspaper clippings about the murders, and hidden beneath a workbench, a blood-stained jacket. Emma later told investigators, "That's when I realized my father was the killer everyone feared." Imagine discovering the person who raised you could also be a murderer. The secret phone call terrified. Emma didn't know who to trust. If her father discovered what she knew, she feared she could become his next victim. So late that night, she locked herself inside the bathroom and secretly called police. Whispering so quietly she could barely be heard, she told dispatchers, "I think my dad killed those women." That phone call changed everything. Investigators immediately placed the Carter house under surveillance, and what happened next confirmed their worst fears. At 2:13 a.m., Daniel Carter was seen loading large bags into his truck. Police followed him toward Green Hollow Forest. But before he reached the burial site, officers surrounded the vehicle. Daniel tried to flee, but after a short chase, he was arrested. Inside the truck, investigators found evidence connecting him directly to the murders. The town woke up the next morning in complete shock. The serial killer had been hiding in plain sight all along. The dark truth: during interrogation, Daniel denied everything, but forensic evidence told a different story. DNA matched multiple crime scenes. Victim belongings were recovered from his property. Investigators uncovered years of violent fantasies hidden on old hard drives. Then came the most disturbing revelation of all. Daniel had planned these crimes for years. He carefully studied victims, tracked routines, and used Green Hollow Forest because he believed nobody would ever search deep enough. Experts later described him as highly organized and emotionally detached, a man capable of pretending to be loving and normal, while secretly living a double life. And perhaps the saddest victim of all was his own daughter, because Emma later admitted she spent her childhood terrified of making him angry. The signs were always there, but nobody saw them in time. The trial became national news. Crowds packed the courtroom every day. Families of the victims demanded justice. Prosecutors called Daniel Carter a calculated predator. The defense argued there wasn't enough evidence linking him to every murder. But then, Emma took the stand. The courtroom became completely silent, fighting through tears. She described the fear inside the house, the basement discovery, and the phone call that helped stop a killer. Many people inside the courtroom cried during her testimony, because for the first time, the world saw the human cost behind the crimes, not just the victims who died, but the family forced to live beside evil. After weeks of testimony, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty on all major counts. Daniel Carter was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But even after the conviction, questions still remained. Were there more victims? Did anyone help him? And how could a monster hide behind the mask of an ordinary father for so long? The aftermath, years later. Green Hollow still carries scars from the murders. Families continue searching for closure. Some investigators believe additional victims may never be found. Emma changed her name and disappeared from public life. According to reports, she wanted nothing connected to her father ever again. And honestly, who could blame her? Imagine rebuilding your life after discovering your parent was responsible for unimaginable horrors. The Green Hollow murders became more than just a criminal case. It became a warning that evil does not always appear obvious. Sometimes it smiles at neighbors, sometimes it eats dinner with family, and sometimes it hides behind the title of father. The Green Hollow murders remain one of the most disturbing cases because it reminds us of a terrifying truth. Sometimes the people we trust the most are hiding the darkest secrets. What do you think? Did Daniel Carter act alone? Or are there still unanswered mysteries hidden inside Green Hollow Forest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want more true crime stories that will keep you awake at night, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another mystery. Turn on notifications, because the next story might be even more horrifying. Final line, and remember, some monsters don't hide under your bed. Sometimes they sit at the dinner table.